Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to some lazy content. This is some stuff I've finished up recently. A lot of it is from my last video, my blind bag from the Discord server. So I'll just run through some stuff here. Not all of it is from the blind bag, but let's go. Okay, so you see straight off, like, this is some pretty messy paintwork, but I think it really works for things like this. Sprinting zombie here with the kind of purples and greens through the skin tone. And that's just a lot of messing around with washes, and then some, I don't know, pretty messy highlights of it. Could be even grey or white on the top, but I think it really works. And it's really drab and that kind of thing. But that's a cool, like, sprinting zombie, kind of 28 days later kind of zombie. Um, Go for this guy next. This guy, I think I was messing around with pigments actually. You'll see, so it's in the recesses, and there are actually some broken up chalk pastels, which kind of dulls down the whole miniature and makes it a bit more flat looking, but I think it works and makes the texture look that little bit different and add some color into it rather than just having a kind of a green and with gray highlights and then blue skin. This was just kind of off the cuff, excuse me, off the cuff, just slapping paint on it. And you'll see I filled in, there was holes, 3 holes here in the sword, and I just filled those in with green stuff because I don't know, I thought I looked a bit silly. But this guy's cool. He's kind of like a tough, I don't know, turtle warrior or something like this maybe, and he's taking a shell off his back and use it for a shield. I don't know, that's how I see him anyway. I know he's from a game, but I'm not sure what it is. And I've just put some bristles as well on the base here just to add some interest. Let's see, this guy's another zombie. I think it's from Black Plague, one of the zombie sites, and you'll see again, super messy, super simple, but I think for things like zombies, it's totally fine. Like, guys, I think speed painting is just the way I paint. I just want to get some paint on them and make them look okay, and then I'm happy enough. This guy had a little bit more effort put into him. He was originally one of the miniatures from one of the Magic the Gathering board game sets, and I kind of took his head off and stuck some beads on it and put some green stuff on him just to make some kind of weird creature, as well as cut his hands here just to make them have 3 digits altogether, just to have it a bit different. Same on the feet, you can't really see. But yeah, just to make a different monster. Like, this isn't any particular monster, it's just something weird. And I did some green stuff work here just to fix up it where his head used to be in some way molded in with the eyeballs. And you'll see I didn't do any green stuff work on the fingers or the hands, but I think that's fine. It's quick and easy, Kind of reminds me of that Yu-Gi-Oh monster. It's like Relinquish of Eyes or something like that, if anybody can remember that. But yeah, this is something different here, guys. You see these bristles here are from a old dustpan brush, so like a brush, a hand brush you'd use to just, sweep things up off the floor. And I had an old one, and I've been making some terrain out of it. You might see it in the back there. So I might do a video on that eventually as well. But it's been cool just to add on to some bases as well. And it's it is plastic, so it does hold quite well. Like, it's a more sturdy than, we'll say, real grass and stuff like that. But and then I have Mod Podge going through it as well, so you'll see that kind of popping up on some of my bases. This guy turned out really cool actually. This kind of Viking guy from, I think it's Black Plague again, I'm not sure. I know it's Cool Mini or not, whatever it is anyway. And he actually has some pastels on him as well, just to mess around with the sword. You can see in the recesses it's more of a grey than a black is how it works out, but I think it actually kind of worked for this guy. And he looks pretty badass. I like the movement in his kind of cloak, or his fur here, as well as the pose altogether. The sword is a bit ridiculous, I think, potentially, but I think he came out pretty well in the end, and he could be a cool PC. Another cool PC could be this lady here. This is kind of a good, I'm pretty happy with this conversion actually, because I had plenty of doubles of this miniature, but I got one in the blind bag. I'm going to keep calling it blind bag. I suppose it's like a blind box that I got from the Discord. And she had, what do you call it, a blunderbuss, I think it is, that ended at the top here. And I added a bead. One of the same little beads that I used for these eyes as well. So little beads like that, guys, are pretty sweet. You should pick them up on the top. And then what I actually did was use a nail. Just a normal nail to create a hammer, because it seemed like it was to scale. And I took the feather off her helmet here and popped it on top, and now she has this kind of big two-handed hammer thing. And I had a bit of fun actually putting some effort into her face, which is, obviously not anything amazing, but it's a lot more effort than I usually put in. Gave her a little extra dagger down here and a little bag as well, and some flowers on the base. So I think she's pretty cool, PC female fighter maybe. These three guys, I kind of see these as potentially if anybody played XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, and there's three kind of chosen with different powers. One is like psychic, one is a big sniper, and one is more melee and like stealth. So that's what how I picture these three guys, and I might go back and give another layer of highlights on their skin because it's very much just like one color with a wash over. But I think quick and easy. I think it works, and the color scheme is a little bit different. So yeah, I think these guys were from Warhammer Quest potentially or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. And nothing super crazy. I did use some of this shiny kind of ornamental rocks here, decoration rocks. I think you can get them for houses and that. On their bases just to, I don't know, create some more interest on the base, and maybe it's like obsidian or something like this. You'll see it's kind of glossy just because they look very otherworldly, but I can imagine these guys being kind of a trio of end bosses potentially. But yeah, not the super best paint job, it's very simple, but like look at that. That's pretty messy. It doesn't really bother me though. Do you know what I mean? They're bish bash bosh and they're done. Like it's meat and potatoes painting. It's not magic. That's not really my style. Okay, so we've got finish up with these here. Let's go with this. This was one of the undead that you get with. It was like the Warhammer magazine that's out. I think it's still out actually, like Mortal Realms or something like that it's called. And I got two sets of the first. I got two, what would you call it, magazines, we'll say. Two copies of the first magazine just to get more miniatures because they were quite cheap, and they had these undead guys here, and I just had a lot of fun with this guy. You see he's got some bleeding eye sockets, and he had a mace here, but I changed it for this huge blade, which, looking at it now, this connection could have been done a lot better. That's super glue with some baking powder or baking soda over it, so you could do that better, but I think the blade itself is a lot more ominous than, I think he actually had like a morning star. So I think this makes a lot more sense with the pose as well. And these guys are cool because you could use them for so many different types of undead. And they're quite, if you want to practice painting your fabrics, there's a lot of surface there. Or they're a lot of fun just to mess around with. Or bases for other undead. This guy's cool as well. I got some sprues on eBay. It's going to focus for me. Sprues on eBay of kind of Celtic guys and warriors and stuff. I got this guy as well, and he's completely naked. So I don't know if I should move my my thumb or not. But this guy's in the nip basically. He kind of looks like Mel Gibson, but yeah, this is because I have him just based, and he had some gear on him, but I filed it off. So he's just like an angry naked man. No reason particularly, just I might need it eventually, but that's him. So this guy came with a set as well, and I've customized them. Like they had weapons and everything on them, but they weren't heavily armored at all. So I reposed him slightly, and I gave him new eyebrows, as you can see, and I gave him a little glass here. So he's going to be, or a mug, he's going to be in my tavern, and he'll just be another tavern patron or whatever you call it. So he's pretty cool. I might do a few more guys like that, or just kind of unarmored, kind of civilian guys in the pub, basically. Now, this guy is, I think it's a WizKids. Is that what they call it? WizKids? Wizards? Albert that I got on eBay that I really like the pose of, and I've seen some absolutely amazing paint jobs, paint schemes of this online, but mine was very, like I said before, meat and potatoes. It was brown base. I think I did a Zenzel highlight on it with the cans, the rattle cans, and then kind of put some kind of, what would you say, purpley magenta through the top, just to make it so it's not fully brown. And look at that, I actually bothered putting some whites in his eyes. Can you imagine the effort? Can you imagine the effort? And I think the base is probably the nicest bit. I actually gave him some bluebells on the base, which is same thing again. That is bristles from an old brush, from an old, just pan brush, and then chopped up, stuck on with super glue, and then just a tiny bit of Mod Podge on top left to dry, and then you can make little flowers. So that's super easy little way to make flowers, and I think they're quite sturdy. Like if I pulled it off, yeah, it would come off, but they're not probably going to come off by themselves. But that's him, and I just add a little bit of color to the base. But I really like the proportions of the owlbear. It's very like top heavy. It's really cool. So I like that owlbear miniature. And last up is this tiny little rooster. This little chicken rooster. Yeah, I think he's actually, to me, he's too small, and I put him on a base here with some, I think this is some hobby rope. Just pull it out. Yeah, this stuff here, just to make some grass. Just have a variety of different grass for basing and stuff like that. I'm kind of getting into that for some reason, and it's just a little bit of fun painting him up. He came with a little hobbit sprue that I got. That I also painted this guy, little hobbit slinger or halfling, I suppose. Nothing crazy. Same thing again. You'll see little flowers on the base, and he has got a big pile of rocks in front of him so he can fling them at his enemies. But that came with that base, that sprue that had a lot of little bits and bobs on it. But yeah, so that's it, guys. That's a little bit of an update of what I've been working on. I know this is very lazy content, but I don't have access to editing bits and bobs at the moment, so I'm just gonna stay going with this. And if you're interested in kind of what I've been working on, these little fast ones, I'll keep doing them, and I'll get around to doing more edited, better content at some point. But hey, whatever, keep watching if you want. If not, cool, no worries. Yeah, cheers guys, I'll catch you next one. Good luck.